Hi, we're at the HMD Vibe 2 launch event and we have Gautam Dhingra with us. Hi, and thank you for having us here. Who are you and what is it that you do at HMD?
Thanks, Milind. My name is Gautam Dhingra. I am the head of product GTM and partnerships at HMD India.
Everybody has a lot of concerns regarding it having AI features. Now, we obviously spoke about it being Indian at heart.
Yeah.
How is this phone Indian at heart and how is this India's first?
India at heart comes from the fact that we have our partnerships, two distinct partnerships, that we have. One is around Sarvam, Indus by Sarvam AI, that's the partnership. That really makes it Indian at heart. Reason being, it's a sovereign AI. The real fact that it gives you 22 languages, the real fact that Indian dialects, it can understand, the real fact that you can mix the language, it could be English or any other language combination, it will still understand and give you that answer.
Can we also talk about Sanchar Sathi, because I know that's an application that's available on the phone?
Yes, so Sanchar Sathi is an optional application. It will be made available to the UBI journey, really focus on following parameters. The first and foremost being you can actually figure out how many SIM cards have been issued in your name.
Amazing.
So if somebody is fraudulently using a SIM card in your name, you will come to know and you can block that. The second advantage is that you can track a lost or a stolen mobile phone. So a lot of thefts on phones. So you can report the IMEI, they will lock it from a central system, and then whenever it is appearing on the network, it will be locked.
Amazing. So no other person can use the same phone.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. Talking about the care centers, I know that HMD is available in 18,000 plus pin codes and with 200 plus care centers. Why was this presently so significantly important for the brand?
See, for any brand, if you're not present in the entire length and breadth of the country, it is very difficult for the consumer to believe in you. So 200 plus care centers. Now obviously the second question is why pick up and drop? The world is evolving towards online. You're getting deliveries in minutes.
Precisely.
So nobody wants to really want to go to a service center, give the device, go and pick it back again. So that's why this service is available. You can opt for it. Somebody will come and pick up your device, deliver it back once it is repaired. That's the convenience factor that we're giving to the consumers.
Now, why is it that the brands opted for a 50 megapixel? Brand could have actually gone for maybe a lesser megapixel and given it a much sweeter price point.
That's interesting, because 150 megapixel is hygiene. There are certain competition who are opting for lower megapixel, but the fact is that we don't want to compromise on the camera. Camera is one thing where all the vibes are captured. So if you compromise on the camera and don't give the right megapixels, a lot of people today, so if you're clicking it on a lower resolution, it'll become dated the sooner.
Absolutely.
So better that you get the latest.
We've heard it here first, folks. So that's why the 50 megapixels is important to change the vibe that you're holding on to. Thank you so much and see you again.